Everyone learns the same story in school. Humans used to hunt and gather. Life was hard and dangerous. Then we invented farming, and everything got better. Steady food, villages, civilization, humanity's greatest achievement. There's just one problem with that story. We have the skeletons, from before farming and after. And the bones tell a completely different story. After we started farming, people got shorter. Their teeth rotted. They got sick more. They worked way harder. For thousands of years, farming made human life worse. So the obvious question is, why did we keep doing it? And that answer is even stranger. First, let's look at the evidence, because it's not subtle. Skeletons tell you a lot about how someone lived. How tall they were, what they ate, how hard they worked, whether they were sick, even whether they were hungry as a kid. So researchers compared skeletons from before and after farming. Start with height, because it's the easiest one to see. Height is a great sign of nutrition. Well-fed kids grow taller. In Greece and Turkey, hunter-gatherer men were around 5'9". After farming, that dropped to about 5'3". That's a huge drop. Now, the exact number varies by region. Some places lost less, but the direction is the same almost everywhere. People got shorter after they started farming. Then look at teeth. Farmers' teeth were a disaster. Cavities went way up. So did marks of childhood hunger in the enamel. Then look at blood. Anemia, low iron, jumped about 4 times. Then look at disease. Bone marks from infection roughly tripled. And their spines were wrecked from years of heavy work. Shorter, hungrier, sicker, and in more pain. That's what humanity's greatest achievement actually looked like. So why? Why would farming make people worse off? The main reason is really simple. It's what you eat. Think about how a hunter-gatherer eats. They eat whatever the land is giving that month. Meat, fish, birds, eggs. Fruit, nuts, roots, honey. Dozens of different foods, changing with the seasons. That's an incredibly balanced diet, by accident. You get everything your body needs because you eat everything. Now think about how a farmer eats. You grow one main crop, wheat or rice or corn. And that becomes almost everything you eat, every single day. Grain is great at one thing, giving you energy. It fills you up, it stores well, it keeps you alive. But it's missing a lot of what your body actually needs. Not enough iron, not enough protein, missing vitamins. Which means you can eat until you're completely full and still be badly malnourished. That's the whole thing right there. Full belly, starving body. And that's exactly what shows up in the bones. But food was only part of it. Farming changed everything else too. Start with the biggest change. You stop moving. Hunter-gatherers walk away from their own mess. When a camp gets dirty, they just move to a new spot. Farmers can't do that. The field is right there. You have to stay. So now you're living in one place with your own waste, plus your animals, plus a lot of other people. That's basically a perfect setup for disease. Then there's the work. This is the part that surprises people. We assume hunting and gathering was a desperate struggle. But researchers actually measured how much time foragers spend on food. For some groups, it's about 12 to 19 hours a week. A week, roughly 2 or 3 hours a day. The rest of the time, resting, talking, making things, sleeping. Farming is not like that at all. You clear land, you plant, you weed, you haul water, you harvest, you grind grain by hand for hours, sunrise to sunset, every day, all year. And there's one more risk that's easy to miss. When you eat 50 different foods, one of them failing is fine. You just eat something else. There's always something else. When your whole village eats wheat and the wheat fails, everybody starves at the same time. Farming didn't just feed people, it made famine possible. And there's one last change, and honestly, it might be the biggest. Hunter-gatherers can't really store food. You eat what you get, you share it, you move on. Which means nobody can get rich because there's nothing to hoard. Farming changes that instantly. Grain stores for years. Now there's a pile of food sitting in one place. And whoever controls that pile controls everybody. That's where kings come from, and taxes, and rich and poor. Skeletons from later societies show it clearly. Royal remains are taller and better fed than common ones. Same city, same time, completely different bodies. So here's the real question. If farming was this bad, shorter, sicker, harder work, more famine and kings, why did every human society eventually do it? And the answer is kind of cold. Farming was never about making individual people healthier. It's about how much food you get from one piece of land. A patch of wild land might feed 1 or 2 people. That same patch, farmed, might feed 10 or 20. And more food means more babies who survive. So farming villages grew fast. The people in them were shorter and sicker, but there were 10 times more of them. And a small, healthy group can't hold land against a huge, unhealthy one. So farmers spread, and they took the good land everywhere they went. Farming didn't win because it was better for people. It won because it made more people. Now, I want to be fair here, because there's another side. That health crash wasn't permanent. In Egypt, for example, health was bad right after farming started. But thousands of years later, height had come back up. People adapted. Diets got more varied again. Bodies recovered. And obviously, everything we have came out of farming. Cities, writing, science, medicine. None of it happens without it. You can't have a doctor if everyone has to find their own food. Farming made specialists possible, and specialists built everything. So maybe mistake isn't quite the right word. Maybe it's better to call it a trade. We traded being healthy for being many. We traded free time for stored food. We traded equality for kings and cities. And here's the part that gets me. Nobody chose any of this. Nobody sat down and decided. It happened one small step at a time, over thousands of years. Each step made sense on its own. And by the time the population had grown, there was no going back. You can't feed 10,000 people by foraging. So, was farming the worst mistake we ever made? Or was it just the price of everything we have now? I know where I land. Tell me where you land. If you like the stuff nobody explains properly, you're in the right place. Subscribe. We do this every week.